Welcome back, my dear students. Your favorite tutor is here, and today we're going to absolutely crush Chapter 3, Private, Public, and Global Enterprises. Let's make sure you get full marks on this one.
Namaste, mere pyare bachcho. I know, exams are just around the corner, and things can get a little tense. But don't you worry at all. We are going to break this chapter down so simply, you'll remember everything. I promise.
Just think about it for a second. The little kirana store at the corner of your street, the huge Indian Railways train you take to go to your nani's place, and of course, the brand that made the smartphone you're probably watching this on. They're all businesses, right? But they're all so different. Let's find out how.
Okay, so to make this super simple, let's just imagine our whole Indian economy is like a giant cricket match. And in this match, there are two big teams playing.
On one side, you have the private sector team. Now this team is owned by people like you and me, private individuals. Think of giants like Reliance or even that small shopkeeper in your colony. And on the other side, we have the public sector team. And who's the captain of this team? You guessed it, the government. This is where you find biggies like Indian Railways and our good old post office. Simple, right?
All right, so let's zoom in on the government's team, the public sector. It's not just one single player, you see. It's actually made up of three main types of players, and each one has a very special job. Let's get to know them one by one.
First up, we have the most senior player, the veteran of the team, you could say. This is the Departmental Undertaking. It's the oldest and most traditional way the government does business. It's not really a separate company. It's more like a direct part of a government ministry itself. The absolute best examples? Indian Railways and the Post and Telegraph Department. They are the government, just in a business suit. So, what's good about them and what's not so good? Well, on the plus side, they are super accountable to the public, right? And any money they make goes straight into the government's pocket. This is perfect for things that are super important for national security. But here's the catch. They are incredibly slow. Decisions can take forever, there's a lot of political meddling, and they just can't change directions quickly like a business needs to.
Okay, Bachon, pencils down, eyes on me, exam alert. This is a classic question. The examiners absolutely love this one, so pay very close attention. Which type of public enterprise is famous for being slow, and what's that one magic word that explains why?
And the answer is the Departmental Undertaking. And why is it so slow? Because of this big, important word, red tapeism. You got it. It just means there are too many rules, too many files, too many signatures, and all of that leads to huge delays. Remember that word, beta. It's going to get you some serious marks.
Okay, moving on to player number 2, the Statutory Corporation. Now this one is really special. It's not just started by anyone, it's created by a special law, a specific act that is passed in our parliament. So it has the government's power, but it gets to behave more like its own separate company. You know the big names, right? LIC, State Bank of India, that's them.
So what's the big deal here? Well, the main advantage is freedom. They have way more flexibility to make their own decisions, and they handle their own money. But the government can still step in and interfere with big decisions. And, sometimes corruption can become an issue. So, it's kind of like having the best of both worlds and also some of the challenges of both. And that brings us to our third and final player on the government team, the government company. For this one, you just have to remember one magic number, 51%. If the government owns at least 51% of the shares in a company, bingo, it's a government company. And you know what's interesting? It's registered under the Companies Act, just like any private company. A fantastic example is SAIL, the Steel Authority of India Limited. Now, this is super important for understanding the whole picture. Let's talk about a major turning point in India's economic story, the year 1991. Before 1991, the public sector was the main hero of the story, okay? It was building everything, roads, dams, steel plants, you name it. But after the new economic policy of 1991, liberalization, privatization, globalization, the rules of the game completely changed. It was like competition mode on. Suddenly, public sector companies had to compete head-to-head with the private sector.
All right, so we've met the Indian teams. But wait, there's another set of players on the field, and these are the global superstars. You see and hear about them every single day. We call them MNCs, or multinational corporations.
So what makes these MNCs so powerful? I like to think of them as having superpowers. First, they have gigantic financial resources, just huge amounts of money. Second, they have the absolute latest and greatest technology. They're always bringing out cool, innovative new products. Their marketing is just on another level. And of course, they operate in many, many different countries, but all the big decisions are usually made back in their home country.
So, what happens when these different teams, private, public, and global, decide not to compete, but to collaborate? Well, they form some really powerful partnerships. Let's look at two of the most important types.
First up, when two or more companies join hands for a project, we call it a joint venture. Think of it like getting power-ups in a video game. All of a sudden, you get more money and more talented people. You get access to brand new markets and customers, you get your hands on some advanced technology, you can create amazing innovative products, and you can even make things cheaper. It's a total win-win situation.
And here's another awesome form of teamwork, the public-private partnership, or PPP for short. This is when the government team partners up with a private company. You usually see this for really big, important projects, like building a new metro line, a fancy airport, or a super smooth highway. Basically, the government provides the support and the permissions, and the private company brings its speed and efficiency to get the job done.
Okay, my dear students, this is it. We're on the final lap. This is the most important part for your exam revision. I've made the ultimate cheat sheet for you. If you can remember what's on this next slide, trust me, you've mastered the toughest part of this chapter.
Look at this beautiful table. It puts all three types of public enterprises side by side. You can clearly see how they're formed, how they get their money, how much freedom they have, and their legal status. See? Departmental is by a ministry, statutory by a special act, and government company by the Companies Act. The differences are right there. I want you to pause right here, take a screenshot, write it down in your notebook. This is pure gold for your exam.
And just like that, we're done. We've covered the entire chapter. So, I want to leave you with a little something to think about. As our country, India, grows and moves into the future, which team do you think is more important? Is it the steady, reliable government team, or is it the fast-moving, innovative private team? Or maybe, just maybe, the real magic happens when they decide to play together. Think about it. All the very best for your exams, Bachon. You are going to be absolutely fantastic.